So I've been coming here for 27 years. About 15 of those years I've been coming as a human rights activist, anti-Putin activist, trying to point out the Russian government's criminality and to warn Western businesses about getting involved in Russia. This year has been a crazy year because the World Economic Forum last year said to me that if you want to come back to Davos, you have to pay $250,000. So
$250,000?
I'm a human rights activist, and they wanted to charge me $250,000
just to be a formal delegate.
To be a formal delegate in Davos. And you can buy a small house in America for $250,000.
Yeah.
I'm a human rights activist. They wanted to charge me that money to enter their conference hall.
What does that say about Davos?
Well, it says that this is a total profit maximizing organization. Their motto, committed to improving the state of the world, is complete nonsense. And if you walk down the main promenade here, you'll see the Mohammed bin Salman building. This is a guy who has been very credibly accused by the U.S. government of murdering Jamal Khashoggi. I mean, this is authoritarian city here.
But still, you still come.
I come here because most of the heads of state come here, foreign ministers come here, heads of international organizations come here. And even if I'm not in the halls of Davos, I'm here because I'm supporting Ukraine, I'm fighting Putin, and I'm probably one of the loudest voices fighting Putin right now.
Can you just give people a bit of background about how long you have been on this, but banging the drum that more people are now starting to bang at the moment?
So in 2009, my lawyer Sergei Magnitsky was tortured to death and killed in a Russian prison for uncovering Russian corruption. And since then, I've given up my life as a businessman to focus on justice and going after Putin. And I've been coming here year after year, challenging the Russian government and warning people this could happen to you. For many years, I was seen as some type of extremist. People said, you must have some kind of issue. And then February 24th happened, and what I experienced on an individual basis with Sergei Magnitsky, my lawyer, has now been repeated tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times. And the world has woken up to the fact that Putin is a cold-blooded killer.
Right now, are there any particular kind of levers? I mean, a lot of the things that have been discussed in recent days have been things about getting kind of weapons, getting heavy weaponry, tanks and so on to Ukraine. Are there any other angles that we could be taking on this conflict?
Well, so my big pitch this year is that after the war started, the West froze $350 billion of Russian government central bank reserves. It's money held at the Bank of England, at the Federal Reserve in the U.S., at the European Central Bank. The Putin regime has created more than $1 trillion of damage to Ukraine. And so it seems entirely moral and logical that $350 billion that's been frozen should be seized and should be used for the defense and reconstruction of Ukraine.
So this is money that's sitting, right now it's kind of sitting in the Bank of England. You're saying that needs to go to Ukraine.
That money needs to go to Ukraine, and that's just the beginning of the money that needs to go to Ukraine. Putin broke it, he should fix it. And the Russians should be the first people to pay for everything that's being done in Ukraine.
And more broadly, I mean, we're kind of almost a year in now. And, has this gone on kind of longer than you would have expected? Is this, what do you call this now that we're going through at the moment? I mean...
This is a quagmire. This is a war that's not going to end anytime soon. Vladimir Putin is not going to give up. And the Ukrainians certainly aren't going to give up, and so this war is going to go on, and both sides, neither has a totally definitive military advantage, and so this is going to go on. And what Putin is hoping is that we grow tired of it, that we stop thinking about it, we stop talking about it, that I'm not interviewed about it on Sky News, and that's what some of his friends have gotten away with. Assad in Syria, we were all shocked by what he was doing a decade ago. He's still there. And,
so it's about trying to kind of normalize this, and what your point is, this is very abnormal.
Well, they're murdering, tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people on a daily basis, and we see it on our television screens, and that can't be allowed. This cannot be tolerated in Europe right now. That Ukrainians are being killed by Putin. He's murdering innocent people for no reason other than his own selfish desire to stay in power.